Everyone, welcome back to a new episode of the Take a Walk by Faith podcast. Today we have a special guest. His name is Kendric, and he's also a real estate agent in Chicago. So how you doing today?
Doing fine. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So I got a few questions for you. So we're gonna have questions about, a few questions about your journey in real estate, because I'm curious about how you got started into it, and then we're gonna get into other questions about other things personally.
For sure.
All right, so the first question we're going to go into is, can you share a little bit about your background and what led you to become a realtor?
Well,
and also, when did you start? Yeah, when did you?
Okay, I became a licensed realtor in 2015. I've been doing general contracting all my life with my father, doing plumbing and rehab jobs and stuff. When I turned 25, I decided to get my license so I can service more people at a higher level. So I've been doing that I've been a realtor going on 9 years. It'll be 9 years this February.
Okay, so was that something that you always knew that you wanted to do, or was it something that just came about because you was pretty much already in that field as a contractor?
Honestly, because of $1 Million Listings. That's honestly
because of who?
$1 Million Listings, that show.
Oh, yeah, I know that show.
So my mother would record it for me every week, since it first came out. Asking, did I see it? I should do that. I'm like, all right, cool. I thought it was gonna be as easy, but it's not. So,
so what would you say is your favorite part about being a real estate agent?
Playing many different roles, playing sometimes a psychiatrist, sometimes just playing different roles, honestly. Dealing with people, dealing with all aspects of people, dealing with somebody's biggest financial investments, and people trust me, and that makes me feel good.
Okay, did you ever do dual agency before?
So that's crazy. The deal I just closed Friday was dual agency.
Okay, so how did that go? Because I know that can be basically you represent both of the buyer and the seller. So how was that? Because I know you got to work in the interest of both of them.
So look, it was way easier. I've always overthought it, but this was an investor. He called me, said, hey, I want to buy your house. I said, well, I represent the owner, so I'd rather you get a realtor. He was like, no, me getting another realtor, it'll be too many people in my business. So I'd rather just work with you. This is what I want to pay. Let me know if it works for your owner. I brought that same story to my seller. He said it worked for him. So they signed it's two forms you got to sign. It's to sign us on the contract, say it's okay in dual agency, and it's another form, a sheet that say it's okay with dual agency. So that's crazy. I just closed that deal Friday, my first dual agency deal ever, and it was super easy.
That's good. So how would you say is the best way, how do you figure out what's the best for your client as far as figuring out what neighborhoods they would be best for them, or what home is best for them? Is this something that they have to tell you their best, what is it that they're looking for, or how does that go?
Exactly. It's just all about a needs analysis. You sit down, you talk to them. It's a lot of consultations and talking, hey, where do you want to live? How do you want to live? What type of school district you want to live in? Property taxes. It's a lot of information that I find out. It's a lot of digging. And some people will say they wanted a house in, Floss won't end up buying one in Orland Park. So most clients, they don't really know what they want, until you dig and ask them a lot of questions.
Right. What would you say is your biggest pet peeve in being a realtor? What is it that you probably don't like about it?
What I don't like is dealing with other unprofessional agents. When they don't take the profession as serious as I do, that's what I don't like.
Okay. Yeah, that is important though. Are you talking about the ones that are in the same brokerage with you, or the ones that just representing the
anybody?
Anybody.
Anybody.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone that's interested in being a real estate agent? And also, what advice would you give to someone that's looking to buy a home now?
So, your first question, if you're going to be a real estate agent, know that nothing is on your time. So you got to put your needs out the way. Your needs come last. Like your needs come last, you're gonna get paid last, you're gonna make the first upfront investment in time, money, and gas, and you gotta put yourself all the way last. So if you got a job, keep that job until you get some deals under your belt, because you don't wanna have commission, bro.
Right.
So, and to anybody that wanna buy a house right now, just see what's good for you, if it works for you. Some of the numbers that don't work for people, and that's just what it is. Like the numbers don't work for a person, the interest rate's too high, and it is what it is. But I don't force people to buy nothing, and I don't believe in convincing people to buy nothing, because that's making it my idea. I want the home buying process to be your idea.
Right. What would you say is the longest that it took for you to close a deal? Like where you was losing your faith in the deal, but then it actually, like, once you became patient, it actually worked out.
So look, right, this is the lowest amount of deal I've done in a long time, and it took like 8 months. It was a $50,000 transaction, and it took 8 months, all because of the city.
Wow.
The city, they play games, and yeah.
Wow,
Took 8
months is a
yeah.
long time.
And then at the last minute,
I probably would have gave up.
you can't give up. You gotta. It's out of your control. So what I live by is like whether a deal's gonna close or whether it's gonna fall through. I always tell myself it's too soon to tell whether something's good is gonna happen or bad gonna happen. It's always too soon to tell until it happens.
Okay. Did you ever have to deal with a client where you had to, or a seller? Did you ever have to deal with a seller where you had to, just end the contract with them?
For sure,
And
all the time.
What was that experience like?
I mean, hey, I don't think we're gonna be a good fit.
What made you like?
I'm big on respect. I don't care how much money you got, what your status is. Like, you're gonna respect me like I'm gonna respect you.
Right.
I'm professional just like you are. So
How would you say because you said that you've been doing real estate for 9 years, how would you say the market has changed over the years, especially since COVID?
Well, since COVID, of course, like interest rates have gone up. Since I first got in, like when I got in 2015, stuff was, I can't remember exactly, but that's like your new stage, so you don't even understand what's going on. You just you got a real estate license and you calling people. But like, interest rates have gone up tremendously. It is what it is though, so either you can afford it or you can't.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna go into the affirmation of the day, because that was what I was supposed to do first, but I didn't do it. So the affirmation of the day today is I am enough. What would you say that means to you? And then after you're done saying what it means to you, I'm gonna say what it means to me.
I am enough. I mean, I'm enough. Like, I don't have to prove myself to people, or go out my way to prove myself to anyone.
I like that. Mine's what it means to me is that I'm enough just as I am. Like, even though I don't have everything figured out, what I am now in the present moment is enough, and I know that my now is not my end. And also, like you said, I don't have to prove myself to anybody or compromise myself for other people's needs or wants. And I felt like I did that at some point. So what that means to me now is just that I'm not compromising myself, and I'm staying true to who I am, because I'm enough as I am now.
Exactly.
What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned in life so far?
Biggest lesson, probably patience. Like, be patient.
Can you name an experience where you had to, learn that what made that be the biggest lesson for you?
I can say, let's see, what's an exact? Like, as far as an investment, like, let's just say Bitcoin. Like, I had that back in 2013 and I sold it off. Like, had I would have been patient, I would have been rich.
Right. If you can change anything about the past or a decision you made, what would it be and why?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's a good answer.
Nothing.
Right. Because we shouldn't have regrets or regret anything, because I feel like everything happens for a reason. And it's either like you learn, or it's just a lesson or you learn.
Exactly.
What would you say motivates you the most?
My children. I don't have to care for them.
Right.
Like, growing up. And I don't really, like, they don't need much now as a child. Like, I needed my parents more when I became an adult. So that's just the situation I want to have them in. Like, were they straight? Like, I don't believe in that. Move out when you're 18. Like, my kids can live with me until they 50. I wouldn't care, so.
Right. Do you feel like your kids matured you in a way, or were you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So before you had kids, you would say you wasn't that
Hot
mature.
boy.
You was being wild. How do you navigate through daily challenges? Like, what's your coping mechanisms? What do you go to when you have a issue, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or something that you're dealing with personally? How do you navigate through that?
Long walk, just walk.
That's pretty much it. So
Yeah.
you don't do anything like, did you ever try journaling or something like that?
Nah, I'm not, my handwriting is garbage. Literally, my handwriting is garbage. So whatever I write, I forget it anyway.
So what do you do when you walk? You just think, or you just try to clear your mind?
Try to clear my mind. Just do a breathing exercise and just clear my mind.
What does the best version of you look like?
Like what I want to be, or like what you mean? Like,
Yeah, in all aspects. What does the best version of you look like? Physically, mentally? Like, what do you do? What is it that you do when you first wake up, or as the best version of yourself? What type of things do you do?
so I get up like 5:45. My alarm's set for 6:07, but I try to get up, like beat my alarm clock every morning. Get up, do a stretching, exercise, pray, take a shower. Then I'm listening to audibles. Like, I don't listen to no music until I listen to at least 40 minutes, either audible or a book. So I live my life like on a point system, and I try to get 100 points every day. Like, the pray, to make up the bed, that means 5 points, 10 points. The exercise, the eat breakfast, take my vitamins, stuff like that. So I just try to get 100 points every day. If I get a new listing, that's 40 points off the bat.
So these are things that you do now already.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you feel like there's any areas that you want to work more in within yourself?
Get more money.
Get more money.
For sure.
What are some common challenges sellers face in Chicago?
So in the condo market, it's just like living off for a seller I'm working with now. Like, he wanted to get what he paid for it, but he can't get what he paid for it because he bought it 18 years ago, and it's just a whole different market. So I had to break down the numbers. I said, hey, how much have you paid in taxes over the last 18 years? How much have you paid in assessment fees over the last 18 years? So it came out to like $900,000. So when we broke it down, 18 years, that was $50,000 a year. I was like, are you satisfied with living for $50,000 a year? He's like, nah. When you break it down like that, it makes sense. So just getting people to realize, like, it's not the same market as when they bought. Like, a lot of my clientele is like older, like 72, 73, so they kind of stuck in their ways. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
But I thought that the older the property is, well, it depends. I know that it depends on like if they make improvements to it and stuff like that. But I thought that over time, the value increases.
I mean, for the condos, it's saturated. Like, you can't really compare.
Oh, it's a condo?
Yeah, you can't really compare like one Chicago. Like, this is a full floor residence that I'm talking about, and one Chicago got full floor residence. They 10 million. This one is only gonna be listed for like 1.3 or something like that, mm-hmm. and it's in a much older building. So.
Okay. I always see you post podcasts and stuff like that. So, what would you say is the podcast that you learned the most from, or gained the most insight from, and what was it that you learned from it?
It's just a mashup. I picked this from that one. I don't have a favorite one. Sometimes I get tired of like listening to the same voice. I swap it out, give it a 2-3 month break, go back to it. So this is different ones. Really, most of them like Tom Ferry, stuff like that.
What has been going on in your life recently that you expected or didn't expect?
What's going on that I didn't expect? I don't know. I didn't expect to be doing a podcast today.
How?
I mean, we talked about it, but this is my first podcast, so.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Well, I hope it goes good for you. Is it going good so far? Be honest.
Yeah, it is.
Don't cap. Something that drastically impacted your life, like changed everything.
Probably, not probably, losing both of my parents like 18 months apart.
Wow.
I lost my mother first. It was a neurological disease, and she had been fighting for some years. Well, for a long time, she was in a wheelchair for like the last 8 years of her life. And then she died December 31st of 2018. So New Year's of 2019, my father passed.
Wow. I'm sorry for your loss.
Appreciate you. Thank you. April 10th of 2020 to COVID. So losing both of them was probably like the biggest thing that I didn't expect.
How did you navigate through that? Because I know that's something that'll be life changing for me. I want to know how I would deal with that.
You just gotta keep going. You ain't got no choice.
Right. True.
For sure.
So do you feel like over time it gets easier, or?
I'm not gonna say that. Like it never get easier, but it's just like you just deal with it.
Right. Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
When are you taking the real estate test?
I actually just took it again. What's that That was this week, and I failed it. Wow. But I did better than last time though, and I feel like I don't know. During that time, I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I don't think I want to do it anymore.
How many times you took it?
Like twice.
Well, I had to take it 4 times. I failed it 3 times, if that make you feel better.
How many times you failed it?
I failed it 3 times. I took it 4.
I don't know, cause I'm just thinking like maybe it's not for me, but I'm gonna give it another try though.
So look, that was the devil talking to me like, that was not for you. You did too much bad stuff like that. You just gotta keep going. If you're serious about it, you'll buckle down and do it. A lot of people got their real estate license.
Right, because honestly, I think that if I do attempt a test and I become a real estate agent, I don't think I want to be a real estate agent for long term. I think for me, what I want to do, I want to get into the field so that I can gain like a lot of knowledge about it and see how it goes. But I really just want to get my own investment properties and stuff like that. But I don't think I want to be a real estate agent long term, because I don't think I would want to like deal with the people that long and do all that paperwork, because it does require a lot of paperwork, right?
I want to do paperwork. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's why it's like, that's why it didn't even come down to choosing the right brokerage, like to represent you. Like I've been locked in with my people for the last 8 going on 9 years, so I know how they operate. I know how all the office people operate. I respect them, they respect me. So I don't have to do no paperwork. It's just everything.
So is everything like electronically?
Exactly.
Okay. I was thinking, I have to do all this paperwork.
No.
So it's just basically, how would a day as a real estate agent go? Like when you have a lot of, just how would a day go?
So I'll be at Starbucks at least 3 days out the week. Like in the morning time, we're just straight prospecting, like emailing people, looking people up, finding people. I'm like the biggest like stalker ever. Like I look people up, email address, say, how'd you get this email address? How'd you get my phone number? So I'm big on prospecting. Try to set an appointment every day, at least one appointment, and try to do a listing a week.
What do your off days look like? Do you have just one off day, or do you feel like you work most of the time?
I work every day.
Every day?
Every day.
You don't want to give yourself a break?
I'm saying, I don't really need a break from this job. So it's like.
Oh, okay. So it's just like.
It's part of life. It's a lifestyle.
What techniques or things you do to like nourish your soul and your spirit? Like what do you do to, get yourself leveled?
Stay positive. Like you gotta always take the high road. You can't stoop to people's level. You just gotta stay positive. That's all you can do.
Right. Okay, so as a 22-year-old, what advice would you give me?
You're young as hell. Take your time. Don't have no babies.
Why?
You said why?
Yeah, why? I want to have a kid
Right
next
now?
year.
Yeah. You think you ready?
Never ready.
Yes, you can be ready. That's what us people like. We don't think you ever ready, but other people, they plan that out. They, hey, this is gonna be for this. This is gonna be for this. They plan it out. So it's starting to be with children to be planned out.
So why would you say don't have a kid?
Because you're trying to figure it out yourself. It's gonna be harder when you got that baby. Teach his own though. Yeah.
So that's all. So you say don't have a baby, take my time, and what else?
Take your time. Learn as much as possible, and learn to pick up on a new language.
New language. I was thinking about picking up on a new language like Spanish or Chinese, especially Chinese, because in the nail shop, I feel like they be talking stuff, and I want to know what they saying. I feel like they be talking about my feet or something. What's some new languages you learned? Because I do be seeing you post it.
I study Spanish every day.
Spanish. So say a full sentence in Spanish right now.
Say
Say a full sentence.
¿Cómo se llama?
What that mean?
What's
Hello?
your name?
Oh, I should have known that. That lets you know I do not pay attention. I did not pay attention in Spanish class. Don't means when? Ooh, I got it right. What would you say is your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory? Probably going to the drag strip. I used to drag race when I was a kid. My father had me
You said drag race?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like that, where you, the two cars, they line up and go straight down the track. Drag racing. I used to have a junior dragster.
What type of things do you like to do?
Have fun, travel, be with my kids, expose them to different stuff.
How many places you've traveled to so far?
A lot.
A lot. I want to travel a lot too, but I've only been to, Miami before, and the Bahamas, and also Atlanta, and Minnesota. Those are the only places I've been to, but I definitely want to travel more. So what was your favorite trip? Your favorite place that you went to, that you traveled to?
Favorite trip? Let's see, probably so Puerto Rico, decent.
Mm-hmm. What made it your favorite?
With family.
With family. What is your perception of life? Like, how do you perceive?
What you do to others is going to be karma, basically. What you do to others is going to come back to you. If you do good, you put out good energy. I'm big on energy, like, for real. So if you got good energy, you give out good energy. If you give out bad energy, that's what's going to come to you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like when you have whatever energy you put out there, that's what you're going to attract. Because if you're thinking about bad stuff, you're doing bad stuff, you're going to attract bad experiences. And if you putting out good energy, and that's just going to attract you to the right people, the people that align with you, all that. Yeah. You've discovered your purpose?
No, I'm not rich yet.
So you feel like you got to be rich to find your purpose?
I mean,
why?
That's gonna be let me see. That's gonna be the determinant. That's gonna be the staple to be like, okay, he owns something.
I don't think so, because I don't think you should put your purpose into money, because I feel like you worth more than money, like you already. So I feel like you probably shouldn't put your worth into money.
No, that's gotta be, like, my work has gotta be displayed, like, success leaves clues.
What you mean by that?
Like, it leaves clues, like, be successful, like, you got your family taken care of, stuff like that. Kids, my kids straight now, but I need them to be like cars and shit gonna be coming up when they get 16 brand new cars, no excuses, none of that.
Right. I understand what you're saying, because we do need money to survive in life. I understand what you're saying. But as far as like incorporating it into like purpose. I don't know, but it's different things for different people. How you do it. So that completes the episode for today with Kendric. Thank you again for joining us today. Did you have anything that you want to tell the listeners? What advice would you give to them?
Stick with it. Whatever you got going on, stick with it. Nothing is overnight. If you get it overnight, you're gonna lose it in a day. So stick with it, plan it out, and it's gonna work out for you.